Before we get started here, we want to just get everyone's attention just for a moment. Those that are enrolled Caddo that are here for the membership meeting, raise your hand because we have 16 online. That way we can get a good count. Okay, we have 40 people. Great. Thank you for showing up. Well, again, before we get started, I just want to thank you for taking your time out from your busy schedule to be here with us today. I'm going to ask Brother Tom Wooster to come up here and say a word of prayer for us. All right. If I can get everyone's attention just for a moment. Before we ask Tom to say a word of prayer, you know, our tribe's been through a lot. We had a lot of loss lately, particularly, you know, in one of our cornerstone families within our tribe, the Edge family. You know, and I know Brother Tom's put up with a lot of taking care of a lot of our people. We really appreciate you taking care of Emma and our children and everything that you do, Tom. You know, we depend on you, the church, everything that we do. We can't do anything without God. You know, there's no one in this room that's perfect. And if they say they are, I'll show you a liar, is what our people told us. And you was there, you've been with us, you've been with me all my life. You're my uncle, but then again, you're my brother. And I want you to say a prayer, however you want to say it. You know, our lineage, our family, our trees, our different bands, where we come from, how we are as Caddo people. You know, Hasine, Hene, you know, Nashatos, you know, Gautsia, Dekoteva, you know, our people, they're pitiful. You know, we need help, we need prayers. We can't do it alone. So I'm going to reach out and ask you to help us once again to pray for our membership meeting, pray for our people. And I appreciate everything you do for us, and God bless you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, nephew, that your words are encouraging for us all. Today we gather for our membership meeting that is a special time for all of us as a Caddo Nation coming together. Everything that Bobby said is true, is that the things that our journey that we've been on has been a difficult journey, and it's never easy. But we do take time to encourage one another on this road of life that we're on. And we being a pastor at the church at First Caddo and helping with families and loved ones and just different people in general is ongoing, and it'll always continue. And like you said, we always include God in everything we do. He's the forefront of our prayer and in this walk that we're on. I just want to say that it's always I'm always grateful and privileged to be among our Caddo people and those our relations here. We're fitly joined in. We're engrafted with love to support and continue. And not always, I understand, it's not always in agreement with things that whatever say or is done that happens, but nevertheless, we do our best to walk away from here with hearts filled with contentment and understanding that our leadership takes a special task and a special role, and I realize it's not easy. So let's join together and be supportive and help and to encourage our Caddo Nation as we merge into a new era. And as along the way, we're gonna do our best to help one another. And so I'm going to offer a word of prayer at this moment for everything to go like we would want, and for agenda and for this meeting. So with that said, let's bow our heads, if you would, and let's go to the Lord in prayer. Our gracious Heavenly Father, and Father, you are gracious, Lord. Father, on this time that we've come, Father, for a special come together for our business meeting, membership business meeting, Father, for our Caddo Nation. Father, you're moving us in a direction that we can't do it without you, and we need your help. And Father, we ask you to help through our leadership and through the people. Father, it is a Caddo word, haku tame by waska. That's just how it is sometimes with the things that we go through. But we're going to manage, and we're going to succeed, and we got to keep strong and keep believing that all things come together for a special reason and purpose. And so, Father, thank you for this gathering today and all the food that's been prepared and for everybody to enjoy, and for the young and old. And Father, I ask now that you get a tended heart, Father, and listening as we come together for this meeting. Lead them and guide them, Father. Father, for we ask you, Holy Spirit, to just lead us and guide us for this special time. And now, Father, as thank you for the workers, thank you for everybody that has a part in today's service, and even for our peoples and our people that come near and far and their homes, God. I ask you now, Lord, and we humble ourselves before you. And one thing I do ask as I close with this prayer, Father, forgive us of our sins. And Father, let us make it right. Let us refresh our hearts today and feel good about where we are today. Thank you, Lord. And we ask it now, and we give you the praise and the glory. We ask you now in the name of the Father and the Son and the communion of the Holy Spirit, forgive us of our sins. We pray. Amen. Amen. Thank you. Thank you, Dick.
I think they're handing out the minutes from the last membership meeting. We'll wait for everybody to get a copy of that. Yeah, I get it. I knew something was off when I seen him walking in. I was like, Okay, while you're finished reading the minutes, we're going to get those approved. I just want to recap on a couple of things related to the minutes. So I have an update to provide to you from my office, including the council. If they would like to say something, I'm going to allow them to do that as well. I want to keep it short. In relation to our last agenda, I provided an update related to self-governance negotiations in the state of the Caddo Nation. The Caddo Nation is actually one of the forefronts of the tribe in the United States today. They're one of the 1% tribes in America that's actually doing something where you have agencies from all spectrums, from all different sources, including Congress, Senate, National Indian, Congress of American Indian, Senate of Indian Affairs Commission, the Interior, the BIA, all its agencies, BLM, Corps of Engineers. You name an agency, every agency is watching what we're doing. A lot of these agencies that we're working with, we have agreements with. And a lot of those agencies that we're working with depend on our employees. And a lot of those employees depend on you because we all depend on one another. And part of our negotiations, I want to just take a little brief moment to acknowledge an individual that helped us along with that, Mr. Gabe Morgan, the regional director of the BIA. He's no longer here with us. However, he's been part of that step with me and our tribal council for 5 years, all the way through our 638 accomplishments in securing our transportation program back after 30 years, our education department, higher ed, adult ed, JTPA, Indian child welfare, we didn't have that for a long time, social service, along with self-governance, our negotiations. We're still in negotiations with the Bureau. We're allowing them to have a little time to grieve and mourn. However, we did make contact with the Bureau to let Vicki, who's the negotiator with self-governance and DC, that we want to continue the negotiations related to the tribe to help our tribe and to secure those programs. So since I can't see with my glasses on, I'm blind when I look out there and see everyone else. Just wanted to let you guys know that negotiations with the Bureau of Indian Affairs still continue today. We did negotiate our court. We are going to have a court clerk, and a judge. We are negotiating right now our realty and what that may look like. We helped realty, the agency, and the Bureau, the Tribal Council. Really appreciate your help on getting all the resolutions that we needed out the door. If you haven't received any SUNA, any money related to your oil and gas leases, contact the BIA. If the BIA sends you back to us, we will help and send you back to the BIA. Right now, there are about 34% employees that took the buyout during the Trump administration and Elon Musk. So this region took a pretty good hit. It's the biggest cut in the region out of all the regions in the United States. There's 12 regions in the United States. And so this region, the agency is moving to the regional office. Hopefully we can get that worked out, Tracy, and with Wichita and Delaware. The agency, just so that everyone knows, the agency does have some problems related to the building in Anadarko. The Anadarko agency is shutting down. Those employees, hopefully, will be housed. We know that that's what we're working on right now, is housing those 26 employees at the Bureau of Indian Affairs at the regional office. So they're in conversation with us, the Wichita and the Delaware. That building is just in a dire need of a lot of repairs. But anyway, just so that you know that if you go to the agency and there's no one there, go to the regional office. If you can't get any help there, let us know what it is you may need. Our front desk, one of our employees, one of our council members, this is your first line of defense. Your first line of defense are these council members, not the chairman. The chairman don't have a vote. I only vote if there's a tie. I never broke a tie. I never had to vote in 5 years. So everything that we do collectively. Good, bad, ugly. I present the facts to the council. Council makes a decision, good, bad, or ugly. regardless, I'll pull the trigger, whatever it might be. So, just want to let everybody know the groundwork to support the future of our tribe is here. The court is going to solidify that, and our programs will solidify that, and the agencies will help us solidify that, and the council's doing everything that they can to make sure that your sovereignty is protected. We're doing everything that we can as we speak to make sure that our ancestral cemeteries and graves are protected. We had a great meeting with the Texas State Historical Commission related to all what you see in the media, what you see on the news, what our own people say. I'm not a social media person. The only reason you might read about me is because I'm the chairman. Other than that, I don't get on Facebook. I don't get on social media. I don't post anything. That's because that's the way I am. I'd rather come to you and ask you instead of go around your back. Like that's the way I raise my kids. They have a problem, tell them about it. You have a problem with me, tell me about it. Our people say if you have something to say to one of us, don't go around us. Come up to us, talk to us, shake our hand, have respect, talk to one another. That's the way we do it. So, Tom, really appreciate your prayer. I've been thinking a lot lately. This position as a chairman, it's just a position. And I'm just passing through. All our leaders here, including myself, sometimes I don't know about them, but I don't feel worthy about being the chairman. Because who am I? I'm just a kid that got left here just like the rest of you. Our people left. And we're what's left. We need one another. We need one another. We need your help. I need your help. I can't do it alone. We need one another. I'm glad the election board is here. They have some things they'd like to say, so I'm going to turn it over to them here in a little bit. Glad the Constitution, some of the commissioners are here, right? And really appreciate all the work that you guys did. And I know we're moving towards another phase and getting all that going. I know our economic development person, Zach Keelan, is on the line. Our council just got back from California, right, and visited the Calusa tribe. Related to what they're doing in the energy space, related to clean energy. For those of you that may not know, I've made my living protecting environmental and cultural resource concerns of tribes throughout the country my whole life. And I'm going to do that here, more importantly, because we have to protect our environment. We have to protect our wetlands, our endangered species. We have to build, if we're going to build something, let's do it right? We can do that. We have plenty of people here, plenty of smart people that can help us, all of you included. So I'm really glad that you're here. Just wanted to, provide a little update. We are moving forward with our negotiations with BIA. We also are moving forward with our gaming. There's some due diligence that we mentioned in the last membership meeting that you find in your minutes. We have some good news. Gaming is doable. It is doable if we don't lose our mind, maybe put 150 games, 170 maybe, class 2. We have to clean some things up from 2016, but it's all doable. The other thing is there's some discussion about possibly putting a restaurant in the gaming facility. Has anybody ever heard of Boomerang? Raise your hand. If you heard of Boomerang and you like Boomerang breakfast, they're really interested in managing Boomerang here at our gas station and opening up our casino to where we can have Boomerang, a restaurant, have some games, have a few jobs, and it'll make a little money for the tribe as well. So just so that you guys know, recap, over $60 million went out to heirs related to oil and gas mineral estates across the country, wherever they live. People are getting those bonus checks. If you know any of those relatives, tell them hi, treat them good. Maybe they'll buy you a cheeseburger. The council probably will buy someone a cheeseburger. There might be a council member here or two that is in that list. But that's all the seismic work that you see going on, that's a part of it. In about 2 years, they will take the data, they will look at the data, and they will figure out where they want to drill or not drill. And if you're one of the lucky persons or not, they'll let you know. And now, why am I excited about that? Why am I excited when I don't have any oil and gas, mother dear? I'm the only child. I've been abused. The tribe talks about me. Nobody likes me. I know, it's terrible. However, here's why I'm really tickled pink about this. $60 million went out to members, not in tribal council's pocket, not in my pocket, in our members' pocket. That is what they call self-preservation. That's real practical preservation. That means when you have cash in your pocket, you don't have to come up here for social service. You don't need a roof. You don't need I mean, you might, but some of these people, I will tell you that I know one person that got over $250,000 just on one bonus, just on one lease. So if we can help put money and resources in your pocket, we're doing our job, because then you have something of worth for you. That's yours. Now, why do I get excited about it? Because guess what? All this seismic work in this geographical area, from the Canadian to the Washita and the Caddo, Wichita, Delaware jurisdiction, I get to tax them. Because one of the things that those operators signed off on was they acknowledged that we have a tax ordinance. And and guess what? We charged them also to help expedite those oil and gas leases. The tribe made about $300,000. Just the other day, $15 million went out the door from the BIA. Well, guess what? When they start drilling in about 2 years, we're going to be able to tax every one of those operators that's in our jurisdiction related to every barrel of oil that they pull out, or gas per cubic feet that they pull out, every day until it's done. That will allow us to put money back into the tribe and its programs that we have, so we can sustain some programs where we don't have funding for, like our language preservation program, right? That's a program that's not funded. We're looking for grants. We brought someone on the other day, right? So some of the stuff we have to be really creative and think about how we're going to create the resources, because we can't help you. We can't help you if we don't have the resources. We can't help you if we don't have the cash. You know, we can pat you on the back, send you on your way, but you know, if you run out of gas, what are we going to do? And so I'm really excited about it. And so hopefully we get to a point to where when we start seeing production, we can tax these operators, make sure they're cleaning up those wells too, Braden, right? Make sure that they're capping those wells the way they need to. We're going to be making sure, we're going to be watching out for that. But I'm just really excited about the energy piece. And I know that the council went to Calusa, and I'm going to turn it over to Kay. She might want to say something in the council, and then we're just going to open it up. If you have good, bad, ugly, whatever you want to talk about, it's fine. This is your tribe. We're all in it together. Thank you. What's that? Oh, the minutes. Yeah, the minutes. Everybody get a chance to read the minutes? Okay. There's one correction. It's the list on the back. The online participants. Okay, so you took care of the. Okay, so there was just a note, 14 online instead of 15. It was corrected. So the secretary took care of that. Does anyone want to make a motion to approve the minutes from the last membership meeting? Well, she had her hand up. She beat you.
The last agenda. I'll make the motion to approve the last agenda. Jennifer Walton.
They can't hear you on the line.
Seconded by Tracy Compton.
All right, so motion's been made and seconded. All in favor say aye. Raise your hand. And those online, if you can raise your hand so we can get a count. Se- 17. We're counting. What is it? 24? Okay. Okay, we have 20 yeses, so the motion carries. Thank you for, any noes? Anyone abstain? Raise your hand. One abstain, two abstain. Okay. Two abstain. All right. Okay. You guys want me to let the election board go, or do you guys want to say something? Okay. Election board, I know you asked to be on the agenda, so I'm going to turn it over to you, and then I'll turn it over to Kay.
Good morning, everyone. For those of you who may not know me, my name is Sydney Samaniego, and I have the honor of serving as chairwoman of the Caddo Nation Election Board. And it is truly a privilege to stand before you today and provide an update on our election board's work in our recent general election. On behalf of the Caddo Nation Election Board, I would like to thank each of you for being here today and for taking the time to participate in our election process. First, I would like to congratulate our newly elected and re-elected Tribal Council and Hearing Board members. We appreciate your willingness to serve the Caddo Nation, and we wish each of you the very best during your term of office. I would also like to thank every tribal member who took the time to vote. Your participation is what makes our tribal government strong, and we sincerely appreciate everyone who exercised their right to vote. I would also like to announce that the swearing-in ceremony for our newly elected and re-elected Tribal Council members and Hearing Board members will be held on Saturday, August 1st, 2026 at 1 p.m. at the Susan Peters Art Gallery at McKee's Indian Store, located in Anadarko, Oklahoma. Please note that the ceremony time has changed from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. The ceremony is open to all Caddo Nation tribal members, and light refreshments will be served. We hope you will join us as we recognize and celebrate those who have accepted the responsibility to serving our nation. As many of you know, the Fort Cobb District representative race resulted in a tie. A special election will be scheduled for Saturday, September 19th, 2026. Polls will be open from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. This election will be conducted in person only at the Fort Cobb District polling location because this special election is for the Fort Cobb District representative position only. Absentee ballots will not be issued following the election board's longstanding practice. Absentee ballots are prepared only for the offices of chairman, vice chairman, secretary, and treasurer. District representative races are voted on in person at their respective district polling locations. We encourage all eligible Fort Cobb District voters to make plans to vote on Saturday, September 19th, and additional reminders will be shared by the election board as the election approaches. Before I conclude, I would like to recognize the many individuals and departments who helped make this election a success. A very special thank you to our part-time election board employee, Christopher Soto, whose dedication and willingness to step in whenever needed helped keep everything moving throughout this election. Thank you to our senior administrator, Travis Throkill, and the Caddo Nation Tribal Council for listening to our concerns, approving resources, and supporting improvements to our election board office and operations. Your support helped us better prepare for this election, and we sincerely appreciate your continued partnership. Thank you to Rose Botone, Matt Topom, and the Caddo Nation Child Care for allowing us to use your building as our Anadarko polling location. Thank you to the Caddo Nation Security, Enrollment Office, Finance Department, IT Director Travis Stockton, our Public Relations Department, especially Aja, for always making sure our notices, updates, important election information reached our tribal membership. Elizabeth Stevens at McKee's and our election officials, all Caddo Nation employees and our families, your support, encouragement, and willingness to help were instrumental in making this election a success, and we sincerely appreciate each and every one of you. Finally, I would like to personally thank my fellow election board members. Few of them, I think we'll just have one here today, and 2 or 3 are online. To Secretary Nicole Bailey, Registrar Louise Smith, Christy Chandler, and Misty Heath, thank you for your dedication, professionalism, and countless hours you devoted to this election. Thank you for taking time away from your families and your full-time jobs, attending meetings, preparing election materials, stuffing envelopes, answering questions, and just doing whatever was needed to ensure this election was conducted with fairness and integrity. Each of you brought your own knowledge, experience, and perspective to the table. We don't simply agree for the sake of agreeing. We discuss, we ask questions, and we respectfully challenge each other. Together, we make decisions based on what we believe is in the best interest of the Caddo Nation and its tribal members. That commitment to working together is what makes this election board strong, and I'm truly honored to serve alongside these remarkable Caddo women. I would like to give a very special recognition to Christy Chandler, whose term on the Caddo Nation Election Board will come to an end this October. Christy, on behalf of the entire election board, thank you for your dedication, service, and your commitment to the Caddo Nation. Your hard work and willingness to serve have helped strengthen this board, and it has truly been an honor serving beside you. Sorry, give me a second, my son's calling me. It has truly been an honor serving beside you. Your service has left a lasting impact on this board, and we are sincerely grateful for everything you have contributed during your time with us. With Christie's term ending this October, the Caddo Nation Election Board will be seeking interested tribal members to serve on the Caddo Nation Election Board. If you are interested in serving the Caddo Nation and helping ensure fair, honest, and transparent elections, we encourage you to contact the election board. We'd be happy to discuss the responsibilities of serving on the board, answering any questions you may have, and explaining the selection process. Although the general election has concluded, our work continues as we prepare for the upcoming Fort Cobb District special election. The Caddo Nation Election Board remains committed to serving our tribal members with fairness, transparency, integrity, and respect. Thank you for your continued trust, support, and confidence in the Caddo Nation Election Board. We appreciate every tribal member who participated in this election and will remain committed to serving our nation with fairness. Thank you so much.
She asked if I wanted to add anything. Not really. Thank you for speaking up for our people, and thank you for being here, and thank you guys for everything that you do, and appreciate it. I'm going to turn it over to Kay.
All right, well, back to me. For those who do not know me, my name is Kay O'Neill. I am currently the Fort Cobb representative for the Caddo Nation. And as always, it's been an honor to serve you. There's just so much in my heart today. First and foremost, my heart goes out to the Edge family and all that they've been through recently. There are not enough words to say. There's not enough deeds that we could do to express the love and compassion that we feel for each and every one of them. And our heart and our prayers are with you, not only for the council and for the Fort Cobb representatives, but all of the Caddo Nation. Our love and our heart is with you. As Sydney has expressed with the election board, there was quite a lot of work that's gone into this election, and me and Mr. Adetakni, my opponent here, we have tied at 5-5, and we'll have a special election on September the 19th, as they've said. We had a good voter turnout, and I encourage everyone to come out again and vote, and we just thank you. Recently, the council has gone to California, and we we visited the Calusa tribe of California, and they had a really excellent energy program, power energy, and it was quite impressive. I don't really have anything put together to share on that right now, but we look forward to sharing that with you at a later date. Just want to thank each and every one of you for being here today.
Berna Castillo, I'm the treasurer, and just like Kay mentioned, we did go to California, and we did have an interesting meeting with the tribe out there. They showed us the grounds and everything that they do, and I was impressed. I really enjoyed it, and I did take in a lot of information, but there's still a lot of stuff I think they could give us, so more information about everything that they do out there. And like Sydney said, I hope everybody gets out to vote when the time comes. So, thank you.
Hello, Jennifer Reeder, the secretary for the Caddo Nation. Just going off what they said, we did visit California. We went to Calusa. We visited their reservation, which is powered by solar, and you all should have this handout here that gives a little more information. We did learn a lot. We heard a lot of technical information, and if you asked me to explain it, I probably couldn't. But we have Zach online, so maybe he can give a better detail of how this process works and everything. But we just went there to see the project. No decision has been made yet. We wanted to see, apparently, I didn't know this, but there's a lot of tribes looking into this kind of project. And it seems like something that would fit for our area. I mean, I think everyone would like to have like less than $100, electric bills, and have their own power grid or mini power grid. Anyway, I'm glad to see everyone here today. It looks like we have a lot of kids here, and don't forget to go get your backpacks. And if you need assistance getting a backpack, just let us know. We can send someone down to get them for you. I think, do they have to give their CDIB or? Okay. Okay. It is, okay. So I guess they need to see you then. See Lauren French. And I will go ahead and hand the mic over to Kelly.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Kelly Factor, Vice Chair. Just to add on what she was saying, we did meet with Calusa, and they are an energy company. We had tons of questions. We asked a lot, and they were able to help us understand like how the operation works. What she didn't say is like we asked about the water usage, because I know when you hear about these type of energy buildings, like how much water, what do they use, what does it do to the environment? So those are upfront most important to us, what we wanted to find out. So it was really interesting what all they were able to explain to us. And they also said that they could do a informative presentation online at our next membership meeting if we'd like that. I think that would be good. But for today, if we have extra questions, Zach's online to help us as well. But I think it was really beneficial that we went and found out quite a bit. So we'll answer questions that you might have as best as we can. And backtracking on something Bobby was saying earlier about the leases and Caddo members that were receiving leases, I was just thankful that Bobby was able to work on this. I mean, with his background and knowledge in the energy industry, he's been really, really forefront for the tribe. And I just hope, people can see that. Like all these years and years, you go back to our grandparents, great-grandparents, as long as they've been drilling on these lands around here, we sit on the Anadarko Basin, and these oil companies and gas companies, they haven't really been taxed like they should be. There's been a lot of money that's been like not coming to the tribe and to tribal members that should have been. But no one's really looked into that in the past. And I just feel like, on a personal level, like they've just been basically ripping us off. Like, they've been keeping this from us, and if you don't ask and you don't push it, you don't confront, then they're going to continue. And I really feel like that's a big strength that Bobby has, that he brings to the table, that he knows what to ask, he knows how these companies operate. He's been able to work with the BIA, he's been able to go after this, he's been holding them accountable, he's been making them pay this back money on taxes that they've owed. And I personally just want to say that, because he's not going to tell you that, but I see how hard he's been working, and I just don't think that he gets that recognition. And, but he is working really hard for the tribe, and I just want to say that hasn't been done in the past like it should have been, and holding these companies accountable, and we finally are. Thank everybody. I'm so happy you guys could all be here today. We appreciate it, because I know we're, all you that are driving in, and it's good to see everybody here this morning. Thank you.
My name is Kara Doherty. I'm the current finger representative for the Caddo Nation. Thank you, everybody, for coming today. I wanted to take my time to actually point out Lauren and say thank you to the child care for all of the spread that you provided today, and going above and beyond, because look at all of it. But I wanted to take my time today to really say thank you and point that out, that we greatly appreciate everything that you've done. And the event down there looks fantastic, and I know the kids are going to love it. So thank you.
My name is Tracy Martin, and I am the Anadarko representative for the Caddo Nation. Just to reiterate, well, first of all, I didn't go to Calusa, so I can't really talk about Calusa, but I'm excited to hear about the energy project that's going down there, and how the tribe is successful down there in creating their own power grid. But to go on, I also sit on the WCD board. So we are right now in negotiations with the U.S. government for the regional office. As Bobby said, the agency will be closing, if it hasn't already, I'm not sure when, but their building is in bad shape. And so they're going to move the agency employees over to the regional office over by Riverside. So if y'all go that way or need something from agency, that is where the agency employees are going to be, over by Riverside. Let me see, I also sit on the CASA board, which is the substance abuse board. And if you have any family members or anybody that have issues or problems in that area, feel free to reach out to me. I have my little card, my business card. If you need to, always feel free to reach out to me. I guess that's about it. Thank you, guys.
Hi, everyone. My name is Brittany Habert, and I am the Oklahoma City representative. Thank you so much for being here today. Saying the same thing as I usually do, I do send out an email newsletter to the Oklahoma City Norman area. This is different than the printed newsletter. Some people sign up for that and then think that that's the same as the email. So please, if you want to sign up for my email, come to me and give me your email before the end. Within the newsletter, I also include events that happen within the Oklahoma City area. There are a lot of different Pan-Indian and other tribes that have events that are open to to everyone, including Caddos. So I would suggest also attending those, because those are amazing events for different resources. I know that a few non-Caddo even attended our last Oklahoma City rep meeting and got to do the earrings that were physical, my last physical meeting. I did want to mention too that this is my 1 year since I was sworn in at the last summer membership meeting. So thank you so much. It has been an amazing year. I am excited for the rest of my term and tons of different plans. With this past year, I have done all of my events on weekends, but I am open to starting to do some on the weekdays. So if you are interested or have ideas of times or things you want to see in this upcoming year, please let me know. In this next newsletter, apologies for it being slightly delayed because we've had a few council meetings between them. I will include a survey. So if you could fill that out or just tell me in person, whatever I can do to make our area better, I appreciate it.
Sorry, but I just had one other thing to say. The state of Texas, they flew a flag at their state capitol on June the 24th, and they presented a certificate that says, from the state of Texas, it certifies that the Texas flag was presented to the Caddo Nation by Senator Brian Hughes, and it was flown over the capital of the sovereign state of Texas in honor of the Moreau's annual dance. So, yeah, they sent a certificate from the state of Texas and a box that has Texas Senate seal on it, and they flew a flag at the Texas Capitol in honor of Moreau's annual dance. So I just wanted to make that announcement, let everybody know. Yeah.
Okay. What's that? Yeah. Yeah, so we're going to open the mic up. I think Zach Keelan, if you can open his mic up. Or bring his face up. I don't know if anyone wants to see his face, but.
Can you hear me?
Heard me. Yeah. Is he on there?
Here, can you hear me?
Yeah. Zach, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
So this is Zach Keelan. Zach Keelan is a trial lawyer. We call him pro bono, but he don't want that name. He's a non-paid individual. It's the vice president of the Economic Development Authority for the Caddo Nation. And he is a trial lawyer, and he's gave up his time to help us. And so, Zach, can you let us know a little bit about your trip to Colusa related to what you found out in the energy sector and what they're doing related to clean energy, and a little bit about what you're doing in the economic development side?
Sure. So, hi, everyone. Thank you for giving me a little bit of time today. I hope everyone is doing all right and well. So we collectively took a trip out to Colusa as part of our efforts to promote energy sovereignty and look at the tribes, how we're going to power the tribe's growth in the future and build off of the energy grants that the tribe has obtained, including looking at, we recently completed a feasibility study for the creation of a tribal utility authority. We did a study to look at building generation assets in terms of utility scale, solar and wind as well, and finding ways to incorporate all of this together led us to Colusa. The reason that we went there is that Colusa is a really unique story in Indian country. They have been on a microgrid, independent of the grid for over, I think about 20 years. They've done this in the last 14 years without a single power interruption or any blackout or brownout. And the way that they do it is they have a cogeneration plant, meaning it's cogeneration plants have been around since power plants have been around. One of the very first ones in the United States was created by Thomas Edison. Cogen means it's a combined heat and cooling system. What they do is their cogen plant, which is a small little footprint next to their resort, is powered by solar and gas and diesel backup. and they take the offset from the heat from from the energy production, and they heat and cool their entire resort and casino. They have been able to power their entire reservation for the last 14 years, which allows them to provide tribal members utility services at cost, and then they charge their resort and casino as well. And in terms of powering it, they also they're in a extensive agricultural community. They're able to power their agricultural services. They have a hospital or health clinic also on their reservation. All of it is powered by their microgrid. And the reason that they did it was, you probably have heard over time that California has had a number of power outages, brownouts, and blackouts. The initial idea came from that happening because it was shutting down their gaming facilities. Because they've had so much success in being sort of energy independent in California, they recently launched the Section 17 corporation to bring that expertise all throughout Indian country and to share with tribes their knowledge of microgrid development and their ability to power their reservation independently of the grid. And so it's a really interesting and really a wonderful success story in Indian country. They've installed over 2.5 gigawatts of power on their reservation, and again, it's a combined system of solar, natural gas. They've built it to be able to convert to hydrogen as well. They have extensive battery storage. They have smart controls and automation, and they have built sort of one box at a time a distribution infrastructure, and taken over the distribution infrastructure from PG&E, which is one of the major utility providers. We also met with their tribal council, and one of the really important messages that they opened the meeting with this, they closed the meeting with this, was the importance of why they did it in terms of sovereignty, but also why they did it in terms of protecting natural and cultural resources. They have implemented in their development framework the most stringent emissions, for example, standards in the United States. They are also developing a data center, which for lots of good reasons has a lot of scrutiny behind that sort of a buzzword. It's a political buzzword right now, and there's a lot of controversy concerning those data centers. Their development of data centers meets the sort of highest environmental standards in the United States. They're not talking about building a hyperscale data center, where you hear of massive amounts of water consumption or massive amounts of environmental damage, or increasing folks' energy costs by increasing the power offtake from the grid. They are doing small scale data center development that uses a closed loop system, which is and powered by solar and with gas backup. The footprints are very, very small. And what that does is it essentially limits who the off-takers are, or who you can sell that service to in terms of data centers. And because it's more expensive to do things in an environmentally conscious way, it costs the end user more money. They have gathered a group of folks that are not concerned just about that, and they are concerned about the environment. So one of the reasons that we went out there is the primary reason is the success story that they are in terms of being energy sovereign. And they have dug in deep to this very controversial issue of data centers. And it's not just data centers, but the impact of large electricity loads on the environment, whether that's a hotel and casino. I mean, if you build a massive resort, a toilet uses a gallon of water every time you flush it, right? I mean, the amount of water consumption at a major resort or casino is far greater than the small scale operations that they're talking about. They really developed their energy needs based off of what they were seeing as essentially an emergency, and not wanting to be dependent on large scale utility operators for their power, and to lower their energy costs over time. In Oklahoma, by way of example, I think our energy costs are going up about 10% a year. It's very, very significant. And so we wanted to look for examples and sort of best practices of the way that others in Indian country have done this. And we're at a time in the development in Indian country where I think that we can safely look to great examples from other tribes, see what they've done, learn from it, and see what might work for the Caddo Nation. And so this all comes on the heels of us exploring energy sovereignty projects, looking at the feasibility of creating a tribal utility authority, and really monetizing energy in Caddo Nation. I mean, we geographically, we sit at a crossroads for energy development, both in terms of the transportation of energy through high-powered transmission lines that go through our lands, through oil and gas infrastructure and right-of-ways that go through our lands, through production that are on both tribally held and Caddo allotments throughout Caddo County. There's 6,000 wells in Caddo County, and there's probably 2,000 abandoned or orphaned wells in Caddo County. The idea that our tribe hasn't benefited extensively from that is it's a real legacy issue that we're trying to address, and come up with ways to participate in the energy space in a manner that's consistent with our values, and consistent with protecting cultural and natural resources as
Zach,
well. Yeah.
if we can pause just for a moment right there. I don't
Sure.
want to lose too many people. And then we have the election, the Constitution folks that want to say something for a minute. But I want to pause here just for a second while he's talking, just for 1 moment. Who lives in Anadarko? Raise your hand. Do you know how much you're paying for your electricity? Way too much money. And the water that cools those towers never been adjudicated in Oklahoma, meaning that we still retain the water rights. So there's no water rights case that's ever been fought in court in the state of Oklahoma. So in the middle of the Washita, KCA, WCD on the bottom of the water, from the Washita all the way to the Canadian, They've been producing electricity, selling it back to us. We're paying these high rates, and we shouldn't do that. We should be producing our own electricity, provide it to our members to where we're not getting ripped off. 78% of Anadarko is unemployed, pretty much, right? And we know what the problems are there in Anadarko. So, there's an idea of building something like this that could help not just our tribe, but the local tribes as well. You got your hand up. Yeah. Yeah, so right now, the council, as well as myself and Mr. Keelan, we're gathering information. There's no decision that's been made one way or another. If you was going to build any kind of facility like that, it'd take about 18 months to start, but you'd need all these permits and land. So there's no conversation about building anything. There's conversations about what would it look like, right? And so there hasn't been any conversations about building anything.
I've made solar systems for my off-grade camping system, that I've had set up here, and that's really easy to do, but it didn't require water to do any of that.
Right, exactly. That's what we're trying to do. Oh, hold on, everybody's raising their hand. What's that? Yeah. Let's do this. Let's get Shannon. She has an update related to the Constitution. Then we'll get back to the questions. That way we can have a little bit more time.
So Amy Heath, I'm Shannon Freeman, and we're representing the Constitution Commission. And we had 7 members. Darcy Parton-Schoon served as our chair. Jimmy Cousins served as our treasurer, and Becky Quinlan served as our secretary, along with Lauren Toho Hop, Amy, of course, Tracy Newcomet, and myself. We had 7 commissioners, and we had administrative support, fantastic administrative support from Stacy Halfmoon and Asia Orcutt. And we were charged by the council to collect data and information from Caddo citizens nationwide and create a final report, which was due July 1st. And we did that. We held 8 meetings nationwide. And I just want to point out that Zach was very instrumental in helping us secure a location free of cost, his law practice in Albuquerque. And my sister, who's here, Kirsten Freeman, helped us secure a location free of cost in Texas at the Texas Native Health. And Diana Parton's daughter, whose name I can't remember right now, Olivia, helped us with tremendously with that facility. So I just think it's important to thank those that helped us along the way. But we currently, as a nation, operate under a very outdated 1934 Indian Reorganization Act Constitution, and it's difficult for our current council, as well as it's difficult for new initiatives to be pursued under the current Constitution. It really is a detriment. It doesn't, there are contradictions in the Constitution. And Amy, do you want to add anything else about the Constitution? It's okay. So we took this responsibility very seriously. And when we went out, we conducted 2 surveys. And we, as I said, we conducted these meetings. We received a lot of feedback from Caddo citizens. And I can tell you that I was amazed at the number of Caddo people that are in different phases of their professional life, professional careers, that are interested in giving back and helping the Caddo Nation. And it's just amazing how accomplished they are and so willing to give back. But currently, there isn't a place for them to plug in and to give back and to be connected to the nation. And so we did our best to include their comments and their concerns in our report. This report is over 100 pages long because we documented everything. We recorded every meeting, and we included the comments, and we did a great deal of research on the survey. One of the most interesting things I think that the Constitution Commission did was worked with the enrollment office and plotted where every Caddo citizen 18 and above, by zip code, where do they live in the United States? And the concentration of where Caddos lived is where we decided to host our meetings. And I do want to point out Becky Quinlan and Amy Heath this is their field of expertise. And they did a phenomenal job. And those maps are included in our final report, which we gave to every one of our council members. So it is our hope that the council will do two things. First of all, make this report public so that all of you and those that participated in meetings can see that we did follow through and include their comments. And number two, we've a strong recommendation from the commission. We had several recommendations, but one is that that the council go ahead and start a phase 3 and actually start incorporating the feedback that was received from Caddo citizens. This is important. This is important work, and it needs to be completed. It needs to be started as soon as possible, and people included who are willing to give their time to complete this task. So we really want to, I know personally, I want to thank the council for this opportunity.
I just want to thank everyone who came to all of our meetings, because we wouldn't have been able to do anything if we didn't get any feedback. So thank you to everyone who came and talked to us as well.
I just want to add one thing related to that. The phase 3 has started related to the Constitution, and we really appreciate the report. Everybody going out to different states, all the work and all the people showing up, new relatives, finding people that we didn't know that were part of us, and all that. It's just a really good thing to see that we have participation from our people. So there was a question. Zach, are you still on there?
Yeah. Yes, I'm here.
Can you open up his mic? Zach Keelan, are you still on there?
I'm here.
Okay. There was a question that a member had, and I'm going to read it. It's related to the data center energy infrastructure visit that you guys had. To clarify, is this being considered for a data center or energy production for consumers?
So
That's the question.
Yeah, right now we're just gathering information in terms of looking at microgrid possibility to power the tribe's future and to power the tribe's future development. So we're just gathering information, and so there hasn't been any decision made, or there hasn't been any feasibility studies done for purposes of a data center or a microgrid. What we recently applied for a grant to look at the feasibility of large loads to help springboard a tribal utility authority. And that could be anything from, we plan to look at everything from manufacturing plants to to other large loads. And the reason being is that it'll help justify the financing of utility scale renewable development for the nation, such as a utility scale solar project. To do that and to get the financing behind stuff like that, you really have to have power purchase agreements in place to justify the financing of it, unless you want to put it all onto the grid, which means that you can wait for a significantly long time for interconnection agreements. And so right now we're just gathering information to look at ways that the tribe can become energy sovereign and power the future development of the tribe.
So Zach, with that, we'll let you go for now, and really appreciate your comments, and thank you for helping out. There was two, I'll get your comment because you had your hand up when we last stopped. Go ahead. Yeah, come up here. Well, you have to speak in this so that there's 16 people that can't hear you. Sorry about that.
Okay, so everybody keeps asking about the data centers and we keep getting the same vague answer, which is we're just gathering information. To me, that seems like a non-answer. You're skirting the answer that people really want to know. At least I want to know, and I think a lot of people want to know. To me, when you say we're just gathering information, that tells me that a data center is on the table still. And I think a lot of people want to know a commitment from our government right now. We already know enough about data centers. We don't need to gather any information to know whether we want a data center on Caddo land, sucking up Caddo water, utilizing Caddo resources. And here's something that, as a journalist, I've been investigating data centers. When they tried to build, I've heard that the one that they tried to put into Chickasha is off the table now. I haven't confirmed that for sure, but when I started investigating that, I'm wondering, why the heck would anyone want to build a data center in a drought-stricken area? Well, these data centers are getting put up around the country in drought-stricken areas that are under federal disaster drought management. Why would you put a major water user into a drought-stricken area? Guess what they're doing? They're gaming federal disaster subsidies. They're targeting drought-stricken areas to build their data centers, so then once the data center's up and they don't have the water required to run the data center, they can fleece you, the taxpayers, for disaster subsidies. So we have the same companies who are causing climate change are gaming the system for climate change disaster subsidies. And if our interest is in helping our economics, maybe we shouldn't be looking into systems that can fleece the taxpayer like that, because we don't have the water to supply these data centers. So I think we're all looking for a more clear answer. I think we all support renewable energy. That's great. That's great. We all want lower power bills, but you're couching this data center stuff inside the idea that we want to pay lower power and have clean energy. We want to see those things separated, and we want a firm commitment from our government that we will never bring a data center in here. At least I do personally, and I know a lot of other people feel that way. Thank you. Sorry, for those who don't know me yet, my name is Joe Whittle, enrolled Caddo Nation. I come from the Edwards family on my Caddo side, Connors on my Delaware side.
You can come up here. So that's one of the reasons why we're collecting information, because there's such a controversy related to things that we don't know. I don't know enough about them. So before I make a decision on anything, I'm going to research and find out what it's all about. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Lucas Sage. My question was just looking at the Calusa information, it looks like a lot of this is really kind of turnkey-based solution. And with their focus on renewable energy, things like that, I was really curious how how that overlaps with the Saku, with the solar efforts that the Caddo tribe is already engaged in, and does that compete with, or does it work with?
So Saku Solar and anything that we do related to energy has a solar piece. Wind energy right now it's not on the table with this administration. And so just so that everyone knows in the room that you may not know, is the chairman for the Office of Indian Energy for the United States is me. So I'm the co-chair for the Office of Indian Energy for the whole United States. There's a 20-member cabinet, and what we do is we look at data, right? Because you have to look at data before you even know what you're looking at, right? So Saku Solar would play a role. Calusa, what we know right now, which is a fact, the only thing that I know is that they're looking at a center to produce electricity without water that's environmental friendly. They're the only, I believe, the only tribe in the nation that's doing that. So we wanted to go over there and see what they're doing, because there's tribes locally that if they could figure out a way to do it to protect the environment and do it clean, they're going to do it. Go ahead.
It doesn't take water to produce solar. It does take drastic amount of water for data centers, so they're two separate issues.
Exactly. So the data centers related to water are real issues. I've been on phone calls with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers in Louisiana, in Texas, met with them personally because we keep hearing about these data centers and water. Right now, we don't know of any of them being built because they're going to have to pull permits, like a Corps of Engineer permit. But as far as like looking at any kind of energy source, you got to have a balance. You have to have a balance related to the environment, cultural resources. NEPA's been cut, which is the National Environmental Protection Act. Cultural resource laws have been cut, so you have to minimize, avoid, or mitigate the situation. What we're doing collectively is we're gathering information so we can share it with you related to what we find out, because right now we don't know enough. We do know that it's a controversial issue, and you can ask one person in here how they feel, but that still don't represent 7,550 people. That's how many members we have. There's people that are calling us that are members saying, let's build a data center. I don't know enough about it. I have people saying, let's don't do it. I don't know enough about it. So that's where we're at. Appreciate the question. All right.
Jimmy, can I respond quickly to
Zach's going to respond like a lawyer. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Zach.
Well, no, I just want to make sure that what you're saying is not falling on deaf ears. There are very legitimate concerns around data centers and the environmental, the sort of the rush and the speed at which they're developing, the use of water, the impact of noise, and the emission offsets from them. Like the one in Chickasaw, they're talking about a 200-acre industrial park. The context in which this arose and why I'm not trying to avoid the question or be non-committal in any way. What we're telling you is that as part of developing a tribal utility authority, the Caddo Nation currently does not have large electrical loads that would justify the financing of renewable energy projects in terms of utility scale. And so we're looking at options of large loads that would help finance that future development. And data centers are part of that conversation. There are very, very different ways to do that. I mean, effectively, a casino is a building full of computers with large water consumption. And the scale of data centers is very, very different. No one is talking about, there is absolutely no consideration, categorically no consideration for a hyperscale data center by the Caddo Nation. That is not being considered at all in any form or fashion. No one is talking about creating something like a 280-acre industrial park put a data center on to give all of our water away or anything like that. That is not even being discussed. This is just in the context of evaluating potential large load that could help jumpstart a tribal utility authority to help power the tribe's future development. And the reason that it's important for the tribe to be in the energy space is that in markets such as gaming, the market doesn't necessarily expand. Tribes just cut up the pieces of the pie. Energy is very different because it's always growing. And as a legacy issue, in terms of, I mean, effectively, the tribe has been an energy colony historically. We've had resources sucked out of the land without controlling the environmental impacts, being able to control the environmental impacts of it, having strong tax regimes in place that benefit financially from it. And there's no reason that that should continue. And as a legacy issue and addressing the fundamental problem of allotment, being involved in the energy space is critical to our sovereignty and development. That's why we're looking at this. And that's the context that we're looking at all of this in. So please, I'm more than happy to jump on the call. Nobody is trying to be evasive or avoid questions. No one is trying to minimize the very serious concerns with the rapid development of hyperscale data centers. No one is minimizing that, ignoring that, or anything like that. But I did want to put this conversation in context. It's not that, and I think it's important to keep it in context as well.
Thank you, Zach. So I got a question over here. Let me get we have some more questions online. Okay, so I'm doing everything I can to get the people involved, the directors involved. All the directors are here. If you have a question related to any program, services that you may not be getting, services that you think you need, something that's good, bad, something you want to cheer them on for, they're all here. Council's here, your district's here. I'm going to let Kelly talk a little bit, and Travis is over there. Thrill Kel, pay attention. So there's some questions about our stores. So Kelly's been really helping, and Travis with McKee's Indian store, and also George's apartment store, kind of going through some rehab stuff. Is Liz here? Okay, Liz is here.
Well, good almost afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Elizabeth Stevens. I have been serving as the manager for George's as of last Thursday. I have been most recently, actually lately, been serving as manager for McKee's Indian store. And if you haven't had an opportunity to come down there to see the changes and see everything that we've done, it has been a really awesome turnaround with that store. We have kind of revitalized it. We've brought back our local artisans that we have missed so greatly. I'm so proud to have the Caesar family back, along with several other local artists, Caddo artists. Most of our staff is also Caddo staff as well, which is really cool. We're providing those jobs. We have the Susan Peters Gallery, which is now a usable space. Childcare has been able to use it for their art exhibits, and we actually just wrapped up their last one. It's been amazing to see what these kiddos have done each time. And we are currently working on George's. George's has undergone a major change towards sporting goods. We're going to try to bring back those sports apparel, shoes, different items like that our community has actually reached out with us, and we have been polling everybody who's come in. We did have a big sale. Don't worry, because we're going to do another one pretty soon. We're trying to wait for tax-free weekend and see if we can help everybody with that back-to-school shopping. We've also been honoring our Caddo clothing vouchers that are down there, and people have been ecstatic to be able to come down there and save and clothe their kids. It's been really, really an awesome thing to witness. Now, granted, I've only been there since last Thursday, and it all kind of got a little crazy for a second, but we're working on getting it together. We're going to be changing those hours up a little bit so it can better accommodate people to be able to shop. McKee's Indian Store had a change of hours too because we saw that request. We polled our customer base. I'm always asking customers online, in person, please send us any comments, concerns, anything that we can do to improve and better serve the community and those individuals. Same with George's. As we go into that transition, I'm probably going to go ahead and have it closed for a week or so while we move stuff around and make stuff have a better layout and be a lot more shopper-friendly as far as the layout goes. I know shoes, we have our diabetic section, and it's kind of hard for individuals to get in there if you've got a wheelchair or a walker, so we're going to situate that so it's a little bit more accessible and better for those people. And we're also, like I said, we're really trying to go after the sports side of things. I'm really hoping to see Nike in there very soon. So I do know we had been asked about basketball shoes. Now, the sports I grew up in, you needed cowboy boots and jeans. But I do have a lot of sporting friends that need that attire. We have Riverside Indian School that I've reached out to and visited them already several times regarding their sporting departments. All these athletes out here, they need somewhere to go that's local, somewhere that we can provide them what they need. I know a big outcry was for the sporting goods because we have a lot of families, and the economy is tough right now for everybody. And we have a lot of individuals that by the time you orchestrate getting out of town, getting that money together, taking your kids, setting that date and all of that time, what if you get there and they don't have what you need? Well, you've kind of wasted your time and your day, and you're still stuck with a kiddo that doesn't have the shoes they need so they can participate in that extracurricular activity. So we're going to try and work on having an ordering form situated so we can organize all of these different items that kiddos will need so that you don't have to go so far away. We can get those items, we can get basketball shoes. I do know there are basketball shoes there, but they are Skechers. And the last I had seen anybody playing basketball, they weren't wearing those. But I digress from that. So we're really trying to get those and Adidas in, and we will still maintain some of the boutique and professional clothing side of things. So there will still be a place for everyone to get some of their clothing like that. Also, like I said, big focus on youth and really providing some great items for them. I will jump back to McKee's really quickly. If you have not been in there, we were able to put in our Pendleton room, and we have just recently finally finished getting all of our brand new cases in there. We had some of our old cases refurbished so we could save money in that respect, and now it is set up, and even though we've put more stuff in there, it actually looks quite a bit bigger. So all kinds of great things going on. Our supply department is expanding. We've got fabrics. We have all kinds of stuff. But once again, if there's stuff that you are needing as far as crafting supplies, if you're looking at regalia pieces and stuff like that, I do ask that you email us or call down to the shops and let us know. My staff, they all know to take those notes down, and believe me, I actually do look at them, and I do my very best to order those goods in a timely manner. I know our beads, they've been driving me crazy too, because some of them come from a great distance, and Czechoslovakia is not as close as we think it is. So we definitely are doing our best that we can down there, but there's always room for improvement. So with that, I want to invite all of you down there too, because July 30th, I think we've actually set it from 9 o'clock, 6 to 9. We're going to do our first community event that will be sponsored by the Caddo Nation, but we will be facilitating and hosting with all kinds of goods for the community, a free movie night. We did poll everybody, so if you follow Facebook, the winner was Smoke Signals. So we're going to take it back to the 90s. We're going to do a 90s classic. Everyone has spoken. They want to see Smoke Signals for their first movie night. And it's really cool because the Anadarko Chamber of Commerce, the Anadarko Community Engagement, the Delaware Cultural Preservation, I think we have some of the Wichita departments as well, have all come together to help support and have resource tables and booths out there that you're welcome to go and get goods from. They also wanted to put together some goodie bags, so there's going to be all kinds of great stuff going out there. And I just confirmed that we do have a face painter coming out for the kids. This is all free to the community. And, we have had a lot of loss in the community, and our biggest goal was to give these kids something really fun to look forward to. And we hope that this actually kicks off to be kind of a regular event. And I know we have the theater, but this is something to kind of fill that void until we can get that going. So we're really excited to have that for the youth. But I invite all of you to come out. It's free, July 30th. All we ask is that you bring a chair or a bale of hay or a blanket to sit on. All right? So do we have any questions? Okay, well, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate, yes, ma'am.
Are you looking into that, of getting some things that
So the question is, when are we going to start selling Caddo things, regalia and items like that? I am working very hard to be able to get those items. We do carry Caddo things. We actually have our brooches. We have had Caddo moccasins in there. And then one of the last remaining comb makers, Mr. Bruce Caesar, he has not been making them. So his son and I have been really trying to work on a plan to get those back, because I personally would love to have those in there. We do carry some of our Caddo artisans that do different beaded jewelry and acrylic pieces like that. So I definitely invite you. Would you love to work with them? Yeah. Absolutely. So real quickly, let me touch back on that again, because I am a Caddo artist and I do make the regalia, and I constantly am working with different members to fulfill those. When was the last time you were in McKees? I would love to invite you to come in. Please come in and we can touch on that, because you sound like a wealth of knowledge and contacts of Caddo artisans. I would love to get that down so we can make those contacts and we can network, because we are definitely aimed towards getting that in there and making that a consistent item, because we are a Caddo tribe. We are owned by that.
You got a question? Oh, okay. Before the mic goes dead. So anything related to Caddo regalia, things that you might need, ideas, suggestions, please let your representatives know, the store know, or find somebody. Before we move on, before we eat, I know there's some questions that some of our members had, and she had her hand up for a long time. I'm going to pick on you a little bit. Longoria, I always pick on you. I don't think that a lot of people knew her father, but I always, if you ever watched Little Big Man, Burns Red, the spiritual man, that's her father, and he's a Shemami, and he was a known actor, and she came all the way back from California, and so she has some questions.
Thank you. I just have a couple of questions. One is actually just a statement, and then one is a concern. But I do want to acknowledge the staff. You guys are doing amazing, and I really appreciate you guys, and thank you to the election board. You guys did amazing. So, so my first, well, Bob, you had just made a statement acknowledging our membership of being 7,000 plus, right? So, in making that statement, you also made a statement that you said, I haven't made the decision yet on the data centers. And when you use a statement like that, I haven't made the decision yet, it's exclusive. And we all should have a voice in that. So right now, we're not run as a democracy, as we know. All the decisions are made through by the council. And of course, you know, their feet are to the fire. They're held accountable at the end of the day, all of them. And like you said, you don't have a vote, you haven't had to vote. So basically, the buck stops with them, but it does stop with you because you are the chair. But I just think being mindful when you talk to us in that way, just like, I already feel like I don't have a voice. So when you say, I haven't made the decision yet on something that's so serious is what we're facing right now with this data center stuff, it's a little off-putting. And so I just want to just put that out there. Secondly, you did mention earlier about some people getting bonuses, and you knew how much those bonuses were, and that you know a tribal member that got 500,000, like $250,000 bonus. As someone that just received a good chunk of money, I'm kind of worried about who sees how much I get. Do the council members know how much bonus money I just got? And how do you have access to know how much money we all just got? And bringing it up at a meeting like this, I'm uncomfortable with that. That's really uncomfortable for me. So I don't know, I'm gonna talk to the BIA. I don't know if I can hold my stuff confidential without you or anybody on the council knowing how much bonuses any of us are getting. It's just, I don't want anybody knowing what I'm signing. So, but I'm just saying, he just mentioned in front of all of us that there is somebody that got $250,000. Okay, so I don't want nobody knowing my business and how much. So I'm just putting that out there. So I don't know how other people feel about, that's them. I'm just speaking for myself. I don't want anybody knowing my business. Okay, I don't know, just the way it was blatantly said, I'm concerned now. So I'm gonna check with the BIA, like, how does that work? And who all knows my information now? That's all. And I'm good, I'm fine.
Okay, so just to answer her question, the only reason I know that lady got $250,000 is because she told me. Other than that, your bonuses and your information is your information. Your fractionated interest related to your lease agreement, a lot of people don't understand the terminology that you get from the agency, from the BIA or operators. What we've been doing is helping our members understand the terminology and helping them with what their needs are, as well as the operators and the BIA to get you what you need. Other than that, we don't have any involvement, right? And the point earlier, what I was making is, I'm not making a decision as your chairman on anything unless I know any facts about anything, because that would be stupid on my part. That's all I meant by that. So, right. But anyway, I like what she has done. If you watch her in her little mobile unit with her solar unit, that's basically what we're trying to do for the tribe. And it's really cool. Go ahead.
So I have an easy question that has nothing to do with anything. So who is the pool open to over at the school? Is that going to be open to members on the weekend?
Oh, the pool at the school related to the child care center, y'all could talk to Lauren, okay? And then also on the energy piece, for those that may be interested related to energy and all that, we're gonna have some open meetings publicly, so you can attend those meetings. And then we're gonna have some meetings related to our economic development side, related to all our stores and our economic development people, so you can ask questions. and we're going to get everyone together and hopefully feed people. I know that we've been talking about it for quite a while, so we're going to make it happen.
Okay, I'm going through all the questions here online also. There were some questions for the Constitution Committee about Phase 3. I guess they didn't understand what Phase 3 entails, and will citizens still be able to engage with the committee on Phase 3? And there was also a question about milestones, like do you have I know there was dates. Oh, I was going to give them the mic. Oh, okay, so details on Phase 3, would you not have that information? Okay. Yeah, so the Phase 2, yeah, go ahead, well, you can explain.
Okay, so there were some questions about the Constitution reform. The Constitution Commission phased out, dissolved. And so Phase 3, Stacey Half-Moon is going to continue to lead that, continue to visit with the people, because the next phase is really scholarly, OU, Harvard, people that understand constitutional law, scholars to help us put together what they heard publicly, what's in the recommendations. And eventually, hopefully, whether that's a year, 2 years, 5 years, who knows, eventually, you'll have 1, 2, or 3, and you could have an election if the people chooses to do that related to that reform. However, we're just not there yet. But the Phase 3, we did negotiate the Phase 3, the council last week. And I know that Stacey Half-Moon will be back up and running. She just got back from University of Arizona related to constitutional law out there. And she was asked to be a guest speaker. So we're going to continue to move on. I think I'm going to lose all my directors. All right. Before we get too far and before I lose everyone, because I want to have a quorum, we have a question over here.
Okay, my name is Kirsten Cousin Freeman, and I had a question. There was a program called Pathways, and it was for our elderly. And the people that were in that program, the RNs, LVNs, whomever, all help with that. It was a great help to our elders. And I would just like to know what happened with that program, why it was dissolved.
So the Pathways program was partly funded by the United States government in Washington, D.C. through the state of Oklahoma. The state of Oklahoma cut the funds because the Trump administration cut their bacon, which means that we had to cut the bacon. So it's a trickle-down effect. That's what happened.
So when did the federal government cut that program?
Well, the state was playing with us. I think, Kathy, you could probably explain a little bit of that.
So you got notice in October that it was going to be cut at what date?
In October, I was able to locate information that stated that the funding was decreased and could possibly go away. They have not funded any invoices from that day forward.
Okay, if it was cut in October, how come it was running until about a month and a half ago?
That would be for the tribal council to answer.
Okay, why was it still running if it was cut in October? Why was it still running about a month ago? Per Kathy, the council, I addressed that to the council. So I guess
Well,
the council.
I can let them answer that
Okay.
on their own. However, the need related to nurses and RNs and doctors and physical physicians is important. And we're looking at other streams of avenues to find the dollars to create a health center or to create a health complex. And I know the Wichita wants to talk to us about the same thing, but the whole idea is that we have to regroup and reinvigorate how we're going to provide health services. And so we're still digging. I know Kara over here, she's with IHS. She really can't talk a whole lot about that, but she knows what it takes to build and code things. If we can figure that out, figure out where the funding comes from, and then we can figure out the healthcare and how to fund it. But the cost coding you want to talk a little bit about?
No, I'd
how that's
like them
cost
to
cut?
answer my question first before they go
Okay.
into that.
Who wants it?
Okay, so when the nurses ran out of their program, the tribal government took over their salaries and whatever we had to pay for. That's how we continued to use that group up until a point where we couldn't do it anymore. Or we decided that we're not going to pay for.
Why did you have the money to do it and you just decided
Well,
not to?
apparently we did.
Then why did you do,
Okay,
why did the
if you
council,
want to know the
excuse me?
truth, is because the nurses were at each other's throats and they were not getting along. We have, we saw surveillance cameras of y'all fighting every day, bringing your kids to work. And then in the process, kids were brought to work. I'm not saying you, Nikki. I didn't say no names. No, it is true. The surveillance camera shows children. Yes. It doesn't matter. The program had to be released because you guys were at each other's throats every day. Every day and I didn't even have to be there. It was all on surveillance.
Excuse me, that's a question I have. If there
I
were
just don't-
issues, if
so
there were,
in-
excuse me, if there. Say what?
We didn't know until after it was all over with. Well, maybe so, but
Okay, I have
it's
a
over.
minute. It was for right now. If there, I know I've worked all my life, so I know if there's an issue, I know the procedure. If there's some type of issue, then your supervisor is supposed to bring that to you. And normally, in other places of business, they bring that to you and they talk to you about it and they may write you up, et cetera, and let you know so you can correct the issues. It doesn't sound like that's done here. So did the supervisor bring it up and have a discussion so it could be remedied
Tribal
or
council
written
isn't
up?
here for HR problems. This
Okay.
was an HR problem, but it got
You're
to,
not,
to the
okay.
point where we had to make a decision on where the money was going to come from, and that came from us.
Okay, did you want to say?
No, from like HR issues aside, I mean, regardless, it was funded through the Oklahoma Healthcare Authority, right? Under a grant under the Healthcare Authority, and I believe part of that was to bill sooner care for visits and stuff like that. And it was funded on a grant, and the grant had ended. And like I ran programs before in the past, and once the grant ended, that staff on that grant, their positions ended. So extending it was like out of the ordinary. It wasn't something that we had to do as the tribe and the council. It wasn't something that we had to do. Like all the programs that I operated that were grant funded that ended, we never were able to keep staff past that point, just ever. But we did because we wanted to work with the staff and keep the program going as long as we could. And it came out of, I think, tribal government funds. But yeah, we just tried to keep it going as long as we could until, that we just decided to wait and see if we can get another grant. We offered to priority placement for the current staff that was on there. Like if you could find a position that was open within the Caddo Nation, that we would give them priority so that way we could keep the staff and that they could go to like another program. And one of the employees did decide to apply for one of the positions and she lateraled over. But I can't speak to the other ones. I really am not aware, but we did give them that option to try to work with them. But we do have CHRs that can help step in. We have Charlotte here, we have Kathy, like if there's programs that they could help out with that you can ask them like how they could step in.
Okay, yeah, but they can't give the same services that the RN was giving. They can do blood pressures, they can do medical checks where Kathy and the CHRs aren't qualified to do it. And I know that you all offered positions, but the positions you had open were for like the head of accounting or something, and I don't think an RN is qualified to do that.
Right.
And then back to what you just said is that, I mean, it's great. I appreciate you all funding it, extending it. And you said if you had funding that you would have continued, but I don't know if your name is Tracy, but she just said that you all had the funding but decided to cut it because of issues that were brought to you. That's the way I understood that you just said.
Yeah, it was supplemented, so.
Right,
she-
but you
she
said
didn't-
you didn't continue it because the nurses weren't getting along. So you're saying you could have funded it, but the council chose not to. So you put our elderly in a bad spot until you found a grant, them and their families in a spot until you could find additional funding. And I don't think that was right to do that to our elders. So you're saying the elders have to pay, so you're saying the elders, I have the floor, I have the minutes, so you're saying that the council is going to let the elders suffer because of what you think happened? No, okay, what programs do you have that can take blood pressures? They can take blood pressures?
I do want to say that looking at the finances, like, because I care about the budget and looking at what it was not going to be sustainable. I don't care, like, what people might have thought, that if we kept going, that was going to, like, break the tribe. It is a very expensive program. And we already have a lot of the months that they weren't going to cover, and Oklahoma, once they cut the grant, were not going to cover, that we're probably gonna have to pay out of pocket. So between salaries, the cost of the program, like, from the paperwork that I saw and was like provided to council, I was like, this would not be sustainable long-term. I think we held it on for another 6 months, and that is a lot of money, a lot of
Oh,
money.
I understand
So,
that, but
I mean,
I'm
we're
just
trying
saying,
to find something.
this young lady, Tracy, was just saying that it was, but the council could have voted because they had the money and chose not to because of issues with the nurses. Well, then get new nurses then. Don't make the elders pay for what you believe happened.
I do think that the comment about the money was just that we supplemented it, and to carry on through, but like, this is so not typical, like as Kelly has mentioned before too, that to continue the grant passed, and we tried to keep it going because we care about the elders, and I don't have the numbers in front of me, but it's like hundreds of thousands of dollars that this program, we had to then eat out of the federal, like the tribal government budget to keep it going for as long as we did, and it was just not going to be sustainable. Again, we're trying to find something, like this is not something that we don't want the program to go away, but we have to look at the budget, and it's just not.
What did the council do to try to find other funding for this program?
We did meet with different
We had one
programs.
health professional, and that was with the Pathways program. And that's exactly what the elders needed, because, and this is personal, and I hate personal stories, but my blood pressure was so high, the doctor said that if I didn't get it down, I was going to either have a stroke or a heart attack. So I got in touch with the nurse that was with Pathways, and she said, oh my gosh, we've got to start working on this. So she helped me, diet, exercise, all the things that she could do to help me get it down. We got it down. Who's gonna do that now? When there's something wrong with an elder, who is gonna help them? Everybody talks about, oh, the elders, we just respect them so much. They just are just so wonderful. But when it comes to money, we're not so wonderful.
Okay, and I just have one other comment, that we do, the Caddo Nation does all these programs for non-Caddo people. We did fireworks for the city. I don't know how much that costs. I doubt our treasurer knows, but could that money not have been used for like an extra month or used for the Caddos for some project?
Thank you. All right. Hold on. All right, so I know our food's getting cold and we want to eat. However, somebody has their hand up here, Sydney. And who? Charlotte, you had your hand up. You want to say something?
We can do those numerous things. We are qualified to do those. We did step up when that program went away to assist elders. We also have the AOA program. We have social services program. We love our elders. They know I do. I see them, I talk to them. If they need something, they have it. And I loved having the nurses there because they were that extra. When I didn't know something, they did, or they would find the answer. But like, we kind of worked with that. And I do understand funding was the issue, but we're by no means in our department, CHR, AOA, diabetes program, we are not trying to abandon or ignore any elders. So just know we're there if we can help. And then also because our contracts with CHR are through Indian Health Service, if we don't have the ability to get it, we can get their PRNs, their public health nurse, their PHNs out to your homes to assist with things like that. We just have to know, and we have to let them know because they can do house calls too. They can come out and check on her. Just in case you didn't know that, the IHS does offer that. Yeah.
She's asking questions that I have asked last tribal council meeting, so I will wait until she's done. We can give the mic back to her. I think what we're just kind of getting really upset with is the fact that we understand that you guys are trying y'all's best, and we understand that the programs are trying their best and doing the best to their abilities that they have. But when programs are suddenly stopped or resources are suddenly stopped, when the elders are left with nothing, that's why we're looking to our council. What are you guys doing to help supplement those things? And I understand that you said y'all went ahead and did the tribal government for the 6 months and stayed for that program, yes. But just like she said, she can't move furniture. I have an elderly mother that has the same problem. She's had 2 back surgeries, and it's just, we all work as well. So those programs like the Pathways was very helpful. I think that's what we're asking is, what is the council considering doing that can help our elders from then on? Because what it kind of sounds like is, well, Pathways is done, sorry about you. Yeah, I don't know. We know you're old, we know you need help, but we did what we did for 6 months and now we're done. So, and rely on your family. And some families around, some elderly people aren't as fortunate as like us and our family. We stick together and we're all here and we can help each other. But there are a lot of elders that don't have that have family that live out of state or are just here and they don't want to move away from home. That's what we're talking about. And like she said, we do respect our elders. Our elders are who we come from. We're doing a great job with our childcare. Childcare is amazing and we're preserving the future for our children. But what about our elders? Like, what's going on? We have like the elders out there at the apartments and stuff. Are they getting the help, like stuff that they need? I mean, groceries and stuff, and just those simple things. And yes, they have Walmart delivery and stuff like that. And I get y'all giving us those kind of resources, like, well, they're CHRs, but like she said, they have other clientele. That's what we're asking. What is the tribal council going to do? Get together and try to help our elders, try to help those resources. Like I said, we brought it up last tribal council meeting and a council meeting before that about the denture thing. And I understand the resources that y'all brought to us. What I'm saying is that thing was up for years and then it suddenly stopped and y'all were like, try IHS, hopefully you can get in. That's what we're asking. That's why we're looking to you guys. That's why we elected you guys, so that y'all can help. Y'all are our voice and we're trying to voice our opinions, and it literally, speaking for myself, I feel like it's falling on deaf ears. And I also feel like y'all are not one. Admin and tribal council, I feel like it's split between two. Yeah, I don't feel like everybody is on the same page. Yes, because even just like getting things done, resources done, even for the election board, and I'm not speaking on behalf of the election board at all, this is for me, tribal citizen, but in my role on that part, trying to get things done for that has been, we'll go over here. Well, we're not doing it, so then I gotta go over here. But we don't do that, so go ask this one. Okay, well, who's in charge of that? Like, it's there's no page, just like my email. Like, we've been locked out of our emails and stuff. I'm still locked out. I haven't been able to update anybody on anything because I'm still locked out. I've reached out to IT twice and haven't got a word back. I called yesterday and was told I'll just have to wait in line till they can get to me. And I'm trying to correspond with finance about getting checks to people, vendors and stuff that we're supposed to be paying. Like that, and I'm not here where I can just go and pop in their office. Things like down on our side of the election board, I brought it up at a district meeting. That whole side, I don't know who was down there, what it was, who did what and whatever, but it was trashy. All on the side of the casino where our door is. When people had to come in to file for office to vote, they had to step over old pallets that were laying on the sidewalk, nails up, stuff, Christmas decorations from y'all's float that I'm sure was bought with tribal government money, just laying on the side from the Christmas parade and still there. We can probably go over there and see. My part-time election board employee had to use his own vehicle, his own truck, and he cleaned that up so that way our candidates could have a clear pathway to walk in to file. When I ask about like who's in charge of that, they're like, well, call maintenance, get no answer. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's just not a whole communication. There's things that way I've brought up at district meetings. I haven't feel like we've had an address from the council yet. Just like our museum stuff is located down in the old casino building. There's just artifacts in there, drums, pottery, just in there, not covered, not taken care of, not preserved in any way. I brought that up because I know some of my grandpa's stuff is in there, and just going into that room and seeing it the way it is heartbreaking. If y'all are not going to use it, then give it back to the family or do something with it. That was something that I brought up at a district meeting, and I haven't had a reply on that. And that's why I think, like, for the membership, we're just not feeling like we're being very heard. And I give y'all applause for everything y'all have done. Y'all have done a great job. Y'all are getting things done, and I will give credit where credit is due. But I think everybody has been asking for a long time. Listen to us and address our concerns. Even if you don't know that answer yet, hey, we'll do our best to get back to you. I understand you have all jobs too, and y'all are working. I get it. It's busy. It's hard to do that. But I think that's all we're asking for is just, we're asking for guidance, which is the reason why we elected you guys.
I can respond to like what you're saying about the museum artifacts. I know like there's a big section in McKee's that was going unutilized, and it was like a huge room, and it just
Kelly,
had a bunch of.
Just so that you know, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but our Tribal Historic Preservation and NACRA person are going through those collections to see about curating that up to standards to deal with those items, to figure out what we're going to do and where we're going to place them, just so that you know. They talked to me yesterday.
But we do have the space for the items that I agree that we do need to get that moved and preserved better. So, yeah. Right.
After our district meeting, I specifically brought up all of the things that you have mentioned. I literally had lists of them. And and I have little answers written out that for at the next district meeting, I was going to be able to answer those. Maybe we need to start sending a newsletter or something out like Brittany does, and we will get better at that. That was my first one. We will get better. I did address the museum stuff, and bringing it to McKee's and possibly storing it there and showing it there is an option that we did come up with. But going through that and preserving it in the manner that it should and needs to be preserved is very important, and I've literally brought it up several times. So I have been addressing it. I am sorry I didn't notify you that, but I'm more of the person that I like to have the solution and be fixing it before I'm like, we'll figure it out.
Well, yeah, I appreciate you that. Still working on it.
Yeah, still working on it, but we do have some possible solutions, and McKee's one of them. So we're excited about that because I think it would be amazing to be able to display it there as well.
Going into renovations right now.
I just want to say something. As a tribe, our two main resources are delicate resources, or our treasured resources are our children and our elderly. So yeah, we need to take care of our elderly. I love that woman, but we got to look out. I mean, that's we got to take care of them. And you are our leadership. And like I said, like she said, y'all's done a great job. But there's, just like my question is, like what kind of what kind of power structure, what kind of do we have? We have a tribal administrator, but it seems like everybody's all spread out. Like they're wearing more than one hats. And, how do we take care of this? I mean, if the left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing, if you got Travis doing all his stuff, plus McKee's, plus George's, and you got the IT guy doing whatever he's doing, fixing the showcases down there at McKee's or not, whatever. I mean, I think, he needs to be IT and then everything else. I mean, what kind of structure do we have administration-wise? I, for one, as a council member, would like to know who's in charge of what and who goes, we talk about human resources. Human resources here? That's what I'm saying. And yeah, when we call on we talk to someone, they pass us to someone else. Or we call someone and leave a message and we don't get called back. We have to turn around and call back. We need to be more professional. I mean, we are a tribe, but we're also a business. And so, and like I always say, in my work, the people, the business reflects the leadership. So, I mean, like I said, I'm not here to criticize, but I do, as a cattle member, want to know some of these things. And like I said, we need to take care of our elderly. So, as well as our culture and our elderly. So that's all I have to say. But if we could get some kind of outline and what kind of administration and who's in charge of what. Thank you. Couldn't think of it. So, thank you.
Well, we're fixing to eat. However, we have a chart related to, directors, employees. We need to have that, and budgets and everything else.
In Cleveland County, everyone knows we had a major storm, like 92-mile-an-hour wind. We didn't know where to go for help. So I did come here with my mother, and we went and talked to our emergency management, which we talked to Jerome, and I want to say that he was very helpful because my younger sister had a huge tree that fell in her backyard. We were told that the Caddos had an arborist named Destin Thomas, I think, that was employed by the Caddos. My sister called him, she talked to him, then she never heard back from him. But anyway, Jerome gave us all the information, and the Oklahoma Baptist men did come to my sister's house. Unfortunately, it was at 7:15 in the morning, but anyway, they came and they got it cut down and taken care of. So I want to thank Jerome for pointing us in the right direction. Because I did call and try to talk to a tribal administrator, and I left a message, and they never called me back.
Uh-oh. You can't talk. Kautsia. Dako na hasine.
I wanted to make a comment about the elders being ignored. I do live over at Regency with a lot of the other people that are there. I was told by the clinic that it's a good thing to be a self-advocate because no one is going to help you. So I have made it a point to use the resources at the Indian Health Clinic for either diabetic medication or because Pathways was no longer existing, I don't have anyone to help me in my house or help me with meals if I need it. I'm a heart patient and I'm a diabetic. But because I go to the Indian Health Service Clinic, I work with a diabetic administrator that comes from Lawton every week to Anadarko. And I have everything under control. I'm getting off of insulin this week. My medication is dropping, but I have to drive over there. I got permission from the doctor to go swimming twice a week, but I have to drive over there. Can't clean my house, I can't vacuum because I can't run my vacuum. I can't change a light bulb because I can't climb a ladder. I don't have anyone to come and check and do a wellness check. They don't do that. Pathways provided those services. So I was really disappointed, like, oh, what do we do now? No one checks on us at all. Any of the elders there, unless you call someone or go yourself. So I think it was a disadvantage to lose that program tremendously for all of the elders where I live. So I feel I'm being totally ignored unless, okay, I'll be a gas, I have to go. I've driven myself to the hospital by myself when my blood pressure was so high, they had to keep me because I had heart failure that day. I drove myself to Lawton. Otherwise, I would have had the heart attack in my home. No one would have known. You know, the Pathways intervened with that later on after my 7-day stay in the hospital. So I'm always prone to that episode happening again, just because no one checks on us to see how we're doing that week or that month or whatever they can provide. Who can provide it? There's no provider. So it's my understanding that that program has ended. And if you have family, great. Maybe they can come check on you. I don't have that big a family that can do that. So they all have lives. I'm glad they have lives. They have jobs. I'm glad that they're working. I don't want to interrupt in that, but I think I count because I'm an elder. And I think all the other people that are my age or older count, and they're not being looked at as a resource. And to me, that's very sad. I just wanted to say that because I recently had a backup toilet problem on a Saturday, and I was told by Mason that they can't do overtime anymore. So what did that mean? Are you gonna bring me a porta potty? Well, I'll give you a call back. It never came. Got childcare that has a bathroom and a room for safety for storm shelter that we don't have access, never had in the years that I've lived over there. So they need to put me a porta potty in my front driveway. Otherwise, what do? I have to run all over town just to go to the bathroom, Brahms or the casino or whatever, because they couldn't come and fix my toilet. That's ridiculous. It did get fixed, but not by them. So there's a lot of other problems that are being put to the wayside, I think, because of one program that really was a help to a lot of us that don't drive, that can't get out of the house, don't have a vehicle, don't have a friend, that they don't have family as a resource to help them. I just wanted to say that. Thank you.
So I have some good news. I'm not going to give up on you because I love you, because you're my mother. And we're not going to give up on our elders because that's what makes us who we are. There's an elders account at the BIA. It's an individual Indian money account, and it has money in there. The council would have to draw that money down if they wanted to use that to provide health care services, maybe hire another RN, maybe hire another CMA, right? We do have the dollars there. It's something that we can discuss because it has elders account, and the elders always asked, whatever happened to our elders account? Well, I found the account, and it's got some cash in it, and it's at the BIA. But we'd have to pass a resolution and then figure out, how we're gonna budget and do all that stuff. So there you go. So, yes, that's not it's part of the court case docket 226 from the 1960s. And there's a elders account in IM at BIA. So we'll figure it out. It's one of them. Yeah. Yeah, that's the account. It's called elders account. It's an Indian individual money account for the Caddo Nation. The Caddo Nation would have to pass a resolution, send it to the BIA to draw that money down. But that's something that could help with health issues. Anyway, all right, Tom, where's Tom at? I'm glad you focused where you was at, brother, because I didn't know where you was at. They have this food here, and can you help us and pray for this food before we conclude our meeting? I want to thank everybody for being here. As you can see, we still have a lot of work to do. I don't want anybody to feel like when you leave this room that you're not being heard. We might have different ways how we communicate, but we're listening, and we're doing everything that we can. But we need your help too, because we need to really start having community meetings about healthcare, clinics, our businesses. Really get everybody involved where you want to be involved at, because as we continue to grow, we can't wear 10 or 20 hats each. Neither can Travis, neither can I. We can't do it by ourselves. It's going to take a team. You pointed that out because it's just janky, right? Because it's called, what they told me, it's called growth. I said, it's more like a freaking bunion. No, I'm just kidding. But think about it. We've grown so much to where we need help. We need people to help us. So, Brother Tom, could you say it? You want to say it from over there? Yeah, you can sit there.
Thank you, brother. Nephew. Let's go to the Lord in prayer. Our gracious Heavenly Father, Father, we take this moment, dear Lord. Father, we ask that, dear Lord, before we partake of the food, dear Lord, that you forgive us. And Father, if there's repented in our hearts that we should, Father, acknowledge you before we partake of this food, because this food is like the water is our life, and food is a very big part of our living. And Father, I thank you for the provider as you provide for our fellowship today of coming together and eating, Father. And Father, I ask that, as it was said, as our chair has said, in families and Lowe's, that the unfinished business is still at work. And Father, no matter what, we're going to get through this as together. And we understand that the road isn't easy, but we're going to work together and do our best to try to be there for one another. Father, there's so many out there, and our elderlies spoken with and listening to, that need our help. There's some that really could use the help today. And Father, and I will be a part of that to try to help and just continue to help others as they need. Father, now I ask, thank you for the workers. Thank you for everything that's been displayed today, for our young and old and coming together. And Father, for this membership meeting, Father, I pray that we go out the door with a clear conscience and an understanding heart and spirit today. And Father, bless the hands that prepared this food today in their travels and their homes, Father. So now, as we come, Father, we ask you now, Lord, to lead us and guide us throughout the day, and the things that we have set aside, Father, and for our future here. We ask you now for your blessing, and we ask it now in the name of the Father and the Son and the community of the Holy Spirit. Forgive us of our sins, we pray. Amen. 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 Thank you. Thank you, brother.
All right, well, we started with the prayer and we concluded with the prayer for this food, but we still have to adjourn now. And I like the fact that we got the prayer inside our meeting. So if someone wants to make a motion to adjourn, anybody? Motion's been made by Tracy Compton to adjourn. Do I hear a second? Seconded by Arnita Pewardy. All in favor say aye. Raise your hand. Online. Appreciate everybody being online too. Thank you very much. All right. Did we get it? T 22 in person? Okay. Motion carries. I just want to add one thing. And okay. But anyway, we're done, right? 22. Okay, so we're going to adjourn. I just want to add one thing before you walk out this door. If you can just give me just one moment. There's something that our people told us way back there, Bana, once upon a time, when I was Hotiti. My mom's sitting here too. When you got your mind together on one accord, the council, your elected leaders, and your people, the tribal administrator, then you got it. You got it. Then when you're off, they told us that when you're off and you're not in sync with one another, it all gets off. It gets messed up. And I think that's what our brother was talking about. You know, we all got to be on the same page. Appreciate y'all being here. Thank you.